Agnes Miller had been preparing for another quiet Christmas Eve in her suburban neighborhood, just like she had done for decades. But when a young black girl appeared on her porch, wearing nothing but a thin, tattered pink dress in the freezing December air, something about the child's distended belly and fearful eyes made her blood run cold. What Agnes would uncover in the next few hours would shake her comfortable suburban world forever and change both their lives in ways she never could have imagined. Before we dive in, comment below where you're watching or listening from today, and if you like this shocking story, don't forget to subscribe. The crisp December air bit at Agnes's cheeks as she stepped out of her car, arms full of grocery bags. She glanced at her phone, 1 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Cedar Grove was alive with holiday cheer. Twinkling lights adorned houses, their colors reflecting off the freshly fallen snow, and inflatable Santas swayed gently in the breeze. The picturesque neighborhood seemed perfect on the surface, yet Agnes couldn't shake the emptiness she often felt during the holidays. At 72 years old, with silver hair and warm, kind eyes, Agnes had grown accustomed to quieter Christmases. Her children, now grown with families of their own, rarely visited. As she carried her bags up the driveway, the crunch of snow under her boots mirrored the bittersweet feeling in her heart. Fumbling with her keys, she caught a movement across the street. A young black girl, no older than 8 or 9, walked toward her neighbor's trash bin. The child's pink dress was worn thin, barely offering protection against the biting cold, yet her braided hair was neatly done, a heartbreaking juxtaposition. Agnes froze, watching as the girl furtively lifted the trash bin lid and pulled out a dark plastic bag. Clutching it tightly, she glanced around nervously before hurrying away. The image of the girl stayed with Agnes, even as she stepped into the warmth of her home. Agnes unpacked her groceries in silence, her thoughts on the child. She called out to her husband, "James, I'm back from the market." James, her husband of 45 years, ambled into the kitchen. He smelled faintly of cigarette smoke, and a beer bottle hung loosely from his hand. "How was it?" he asked gruffly, though his tone carried a familiar warmth. "Busy, as always," Agnes replied, distracted. She hesitated before continuing. "Did you happen to see a little girl outside today? A black girl? All alone?" James frowned. "No. Why?" Agnes recounted what she had seen. James shrugged, sipping his beer. "Probably nothing. Kids do strange things. Don't worry about it." But Agnes couldn't let it go. After dinner, she sorted through her mail and found a folded piece of paper tucked among the bills. It wasn't addressed or sealed, just a plain sheet. Curiosity piqued, she opened it. Scrawled in shaky handwriting, the note read, "Help. I need food. Hungry. Give money and put in trash." That evening, as Agnes washed dishes, she spotted the girl again. This time, she was rummaging through Agnes's own trash bin. Agnes quickly wiped her hands and stepped outside. "Hello there, sweetheart," she called softly. "Are you hungry? I can get you something to eat." The girl froze, her wide eyes filled with fear. In her panic, she knocked over the bin, spilling its contents onto the snow-covered driveway. She bolted down the street before Agnes could say another word. Heartbroken, Agnes cleaned up the mess, but not before noticing the girl peeking out from behind a tree, her small frame trembling. The next morning, determined to help, Agnes packed a box with warm clothes, food, and small toys. She left it by the trash bin, hoping the girl would find it. That night, Agnes watched as the girl returned. To her dismay, the child took only the envelope of cash she had included, leaving behind the clothes and food. Feeling a deeper need to intervene, Agnes decided to follow the girl the next time she saw her. The following day, she trailed the child to a shabby camper park on the outskirts of the neighborhood. The girl stood barefoot near a pile of trash bags. Agnes approached cautiously. "Sweetheart," Agnes began gently, "are you okay?" Before the girl could respond, a disheveled woman stumbled out of a nearby camper, followed by a younger man. "What do you want?" the woman slurred, her words thick with alcohol. "I'm just worried about this child," Agnes said, her voice steady. "She looks cold and hungry." The man stepped forward, his posture menacing. "You need to leave." Agnes's heart ached for the girl, who stood silent and fearful. But realizing the situation could escalate, Agnes backed away, her mind racing with how to help. Later that evening, Agnes called the police and reported what she had seen. Officers arrived at the camper park, arresting the intoxicated adults for neglect. The little girl, whose name was revealed to be Elena, was taken into protective custody. Agnes knelt beside Elena, her voice soft. "It's going to be okay, sweetheart. You're safe now." Through tears, Elena whispered, "Thank you." That Christmas Eve, Agnes and James opened their hearts and home. While their children hadn't visited, helping Elena brought a sense of purpose and joy they hadn't felt in years. It was a Christmas of compassion and action, a reminder of the power of kindness. As the family gathered around the table that night, Agnes whispered to herself, "This might not be the Christmas I planned, but it's the one we all needed." Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change someone's life forever. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring tales.